If you're new here this morning or I haven't met you, my name's Sarah. I'm part of the team here, and what I love about this space we're creating, She Gathers on a Thursday morning, and I'm just going to keep reiterating it until we're sort of all on the same page of what this space is. It's not just another gathering for the sake of doing another gathering. Nobody needs more in their life like that. But what it is, it's also not just about me, as in Sarah. It's not just about you coming to receive from what I bring from God to you. It's about us. It's about she, like as in we all gather. And I know that in this room already, like I was talking to someone over morning tea, and we somehow the conversation just went where it went, and started telling some of, her story and some of the God miracles, and when God opened her eyes to something. And I'm like, man, like me seeing the goodness of God in your life inspires me. And that's the heart of this space. So you're definitely going to see the reflection of that, because I'm going to engage lots of different people to be in this space to inspire and at times challenge, but often just talk about the story of God in our life. And so this morning, we're going to start with that, and then I'm going to share a really quick thought building on last week, just a little bit of a recap on last week and building on this week, and then we're going to go into groups and unpack that. But I've got a very special surprise for you this morning you didn't know. And I've got my dear friend Emma coming to share her testimony first up. And this is a super powerful testimony. And what I love about it, and why I felt in God for her to share it this morning, she actually shared it last night very bravely at our recovery ministry. And this morning I woke up and I was like, that is the perfect example of a wise woman who is building her house, who is examining the foundations of her life, and is allowing disruptive honesty in terms of the honest with herself and honest with God in her life. And it totally inspired and challenged me. And so I know that you're going to be inspired too by her bravery. So can we welcome Emma as she comes to share her testimony with us this morning?
Cool. Thank you. Ko eo, ko mā timanga, ko tauranga te moana, ko tawindewa te waka, ko ngāta pake te iwi, ko Emma Drummond Ho. I was born on 21st December 1982 in Tauranga Hospital. 12:30 midday, I was supposed to be born in Tauranga birthing unit. However, with complications, I was transferred to Tauranga Hospital 4 hours later. My big sister, who was 6 years older than me, wasn't happy I was born at that stage because I was going to be in hospital for Christmas Day. So she was more worried about how Santa would deliver her Christmas presents. I had complications in my first life, breathing and other bits. But on Christmas Day, Santa promised it and delivered the Christmas presents to the hospital. After 2 weeks in hospital, I could start my life with my family in Tauranga. I had a great upbringing. At 3 months old, Mum was changing me one day and realised there was a slight issue with my legs, as they would disappear when Mum would put the cloth nappies on. Mum and Dad decided to take me to see a specialist at Tauranga Hospital, who were able to give Mum and Dad the diagnosis. I was a little person. At first they were shocked and did not know what to do, or how to take it all in. They felt they had failed me in a way, but overall they had not. All in all, the early years of my life were normal. In my early years of primary school, I had no real issues. I enjoyed my early years. At the age of 9, my life decided to throw some curveballs. For me and my family that year, my mum got sick. Also that year, it was the worst year of my life, as that was the year I was also sexually abused by an older kid. With this happening for all that year, and with my family's health, I kept this to myself. At the age of 21, I also found out how many other victims he had abused. I kept pushing this deeper down, hoping it would never surface again. Little was I wrong. After my years at school, I went on to become a teacher aide and worked at New World Supermarket in Christchurch. I started out as a checkout operator and moved my way up to manager. I had a lot of learning and fun times, but also sad times. Christchurch earthquakes hit, and that experience is another chapter of my life story. They always have an impact on my life, but a part of my life when I look back, and Jesus was actually walking beside me through that chapter. In my working days, I immersed myself in my work 7 days a week, long hours, hoping that my secret would never resurface. At the age of 22, I could not keep it in. The secret I let out to my family to know what had happened. This helped me start the process of getting help and going through the ACC sensitive claim process. The working 7 days had to stop. I made the decision, with the help of my family, to move back up here to Tauranga. I needed to start my recovery journey, but little did I know that my drinking and drug taking started to show its ugly side. I started drinking in the morning, and that's when I knew I had a problem. I thought I could get control, but sadly, no, it got worse. My parents helped me into Hamner Clinic. My first time entering, I was not there for me, I was there for my family. I just wanted to continue drinking. Hamner Clinic tried to help me. However, I was there for others, not myself. I was under Tauranga mental health at the stage, with numerous call-outs of mental health to come and deal with me. I'd clean up, go back home, and would start again. In the end, my drinking made me extremely violent. I'd take it out on my poor dad and my family to the point where I got arrested and orders not allowed back home. Or near my family, living in the motel in town, I'd reached the end, had enough. After numerous overdoses and drinking, I was put into mental health hospital. After 2 weeks, I was able to move into care. This time I realised again, Jesus was actually walking me through and still loved me. In April 2021, I entered Manaaki Ora Te Whare Narco Rehab. For 3 months, in the end, that was the best move I'd ever made. I learnt so much about myself, about trusting the process and forgiveness of myself. I worked hard and continued changing my thinking. I no longer want to be the victim, but a survivor. With the help of my clinicians, I was able to reconnect with my family and start to make my amends with them. Upon returning, I connected back with Hamner Clinic and completed the intensive outpatient program. I learned to show up for myself. I'm a lot more stable and secure. I can manage myself and the difficulties life throws at me. Without any substance abuse or aggressive behaviour, I maintain my recovery by attending continuing care, one-on-one appointments with my clinician, peer support worker, ACC therapy, connecting with a sponsor, attending 12-step meetings. My life is so much better these days. I'm focusing on loving myself and pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I've learned this is where growth happens. One of my clinician's words that stuck with me is that addiction is cunning and baffling and powerful and needs daily attention. I have taken this on board and have accepted that I'm an addict and will continue to work the daily program. That was July 2021. Fast forward to today. In that time, I've graduated Hamner Clinic, obtained my peer support certificate, remained clean for 5 years, returned to church. After a period away from it. I was able to have my 2 operations on my legs as I had enough clean time and they would allow to operate. Something's missing though. Missing is doing the deep down work. That needed to continue to come back. So what came back? My lying problem. It started back after my abuse. I'd lie about shit so that people wouldn't find out what had actually happened to me. I became more codependent. Confronted with my issues, I surrendered. I'd had enough, started fully back in recovery, trusting Jesus, walking with him, Bible study, counselling, NA meetings. Started with a sponsor, then boom, last year it happened again. Having to fully surrender everything to Jesus. This time I wasn't running away from it. Any of the problems which I had a tendency to do, making amends, starting with a new sponsor, who can be tough, but it's what it need, being straight up with my therapist, digging more deeper with my therapist, with no problems, with all problems I had avoided for years. What am I doing differently? This time is trying to work my program, step work, learning where my boundaries are, needing to be learning more on people-pleasing, my codependency, and learning in recovery. Change is hard, recovery is possible. That is why we can't do it alone, and that's why it's vital that we have a foundation of hope. That is why we need to work our daily program, and most of all, faith over fear.